Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're gonna have ourselves a 1v1 on Faymonville Approach. Our heroes today are going to be Mr. Luvnest, playing as the Soviet faction in the blue. And his opponent, of course, as we already expected, is going to be none other than Mr. HelpingHans, as we continue on the week of Hans. So, this is from the finals against Luvnest. So, it's going to be multiple games. And, yeah, this is the first game in the series, and it is on Faymonville Approach. So let's take a look at what both players have done. Hans, Tier 1, pretty standard, getting a Grand Squad on the field right now, with an MG42 already out in the field, capturing the center. For Luvnest, well, pretty much as standard as it gets, conscripts, and yes, more conscripts. So center map, we hear an engagement as the combat engineers and Pios duke it out at a little bit of long range there. Pios taking a little bit more damage there than the combat engineers, but, you know, nobody really wins the engagement. The Pios just cap and then move along. The MG42 behind him, though, would have been an easy thing to throw into the engagement so that they would win. Combat engineers on the left-hand side, they do go for the fuel, managing to cap it. We have Grands moving along in that direction. They pop in the house. They pop out as they realize that there's nobody there. And then they continue along the way. The conscripts on the field, now being 3 at a time. We have one up in the northern fuel, laying down some sandbags as it caps. Behind him, we have another conscript squad capturing the fuel. And then we have the third one, which is... where? Over here. There it is. Over on the left-hand side, fighting against the Grens as they decap that fuel. Now, we do see a second combat engineer squad on the field for Luvnest. And he does get it, of course, to be able to build his tech, taking up to Tier 2. And I'm going to cease. Gotta figure out setups where I can place a manual mute on my microphone so that I can quickly shut it down. But on this one, though, I don't actually have anything. Oh well, doesn't matter. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, the conscripts engaging the Grands over on the left-hand side, getting them down to 2 men, forcing them to retreat. Combat engineers also in that engagement, now engaging against another Grand Squad, which is currently capping that munitions below it. Cover to cover and green cover, so the engagement will take a while, but of course the Grands will end up winning that engagement in the long run. And with Tier 2 down, I'm assuming something's going to be coming out of that, because, well, it's kind of early for Luvnest to be able to tech up even further, but he did get his second combat engineer squad to be able to build a tech, as I said, because the other one is still on the field, and, well, you know, you don't want to retreat it. It makes it a lot easier. Combat engineers getting upgraded with flamethrowers, trying to see what they can flush out. We do have the Pios for Hans already getting upgraded with sweepers. We haven't really seen mine play going down so far, but it does give him access to also cut things. Remember, with that, you have access to the wire cutters. So maybe he wants that. I don't know. I haven't seen really much wire from Luvnest. Conscripts pushing up to the front of the base. We do see a nice little placement of wire there for HelpingHans, denying those conscripts the ability to get heavy cover. So the Grants just push right on top of them, getting themselves in heavy cover while the conscripts are left out in the open. Torn down to 2 men, and forced to retreat. Pio's squad moving up with, not Pio, combat engineers moving up with their flamethrowers. Getting a decent burst going off in the Grens, getting a lot of damage in there, but again, it's 2 squads of Grens against that 1 combat engineer squad. Quickly tearing it down to 1 man, forcing the retreat. And kind of risking there actually getting it killed, but at least it turned out well. Order squad on the field now for Mr. Luvnest, taking some use of his Tier 2. Should help out in flushing out that MG42 in the center. Grants are moving on top of it though, so they will be forcing that squad to get the hell out of the way. No rifle grenade. Needs to get Tier... I mean, not Tier 1. That thing. Battle phase 1. So anyways, Grants over on the right-hand side, going to be engaging the conscripts. The conscripts are getting on top of them, getting themselves in heavy cover, so they will win that engagement, but the Grants do manage to decap the point. On the left-hand side, we hear combat engineers and Pios engaging at close range. The Pios do technically have the upper hand in, close range because of their SMGs, but, with the loss of one of them because of the sweeper and already having lost some, they would have lost the engagement. However, with the support of the other MG42 that Hans is now fielding, he is able to easily just win the engagement and even keep the squad on the field, although it's now retreating, so there you go. Conscripts deciding to sit down and build a sandbag right here. Seems like it's a bit of a position where it would block the exit and get the squad stuck there. I'm assuming that's what he wanted to do. Essentially there, like they exit here and get stuck there, they have to vault or something. Not too effective, but an interesting, thing to do nonetheless. MG42 setting up behind. Grands, everybody retreating. Do we have a med banker? Yeah, we do have a med banker back at base. So at least the squads for Hans will be coming out back in full strength. Up in the field for Luvnest, we do have the medics from the HQ as well, so everybody will be healed up and sent back out at full strength whenever possible. Any additional tech? Well, we do have tier 2 now down for HelpingHans, so I can only assume that the 222 is going to be coming out relatively soon. 222's rather strong and popular nowadays. Pretty much the standard thing to see and expect. Pretty much every game that we've casted for the austere have had 222s, so yeah, pretty strong. So on the right hand side we do see the conscript squad retreating, as it, well, they didn't really have a hope in the world here to actually win that engagement. MG fighting on top of it, we had Grants on top and everything, so would have easily died and lost a lot of men, so may as well just get it out of there if you're not gonna get any benefit from leaving it there. Conscripts and Grens once again engaging close range. The Grens taking the brunt of the damage there, down to 2 men, forced to retreat. Second Gren squad coming up on the flank, getting a good position there on that Conscript squad. However, with the Combat Engineer squad with a flamethrower coming down on top of them, they decide to instead just run down the field, getting shot in the back, but, not that big a deal. MG42 out in the open, trying to get some shots going on the Combat Engineers. The Combat Engineers, though, are getting flanked here by the Grens. The Grens able to get some good shots off on them. Even a rifle grenade flying, but the Combat Engineer squad barely makes it out of there as it gets gunned down on the retreat by the MG42. MG42 down to 2 men, forced to retreat as a conscript squad is in front of it. Would have been able to keep it suppressed, but it was a risk there, and with that low health, it would have easily gotten killed. Second MG just covering behind, making sure that no flank comes and, the enemy doesn't really do too much there. Combat Engineers on the left-hand side doing some capping. The conscripts up in the front retreating as the 222 hits the field and is going to be chasing down those conscripts. Pushing all the way forward, going to be making that mortar squad also retreat. Everybody goes back, and there's not a lot here that Luvnest can do about this. HelpingHans just pushes to the front of the base, going to be getting some shots going. Could actually destroy the tier 3 that is going down right now. It's getting built and extremely vulnerable, so it's going to be a bit of a risk there. Shots do fly. Damage starts to rack up, but I don't think it's actually strong enough to destroy it. Yeah, it's going to do damage to the structure, but it's not going to kill it, which is unfortunate there for Hans, but well, it happens. Far right-hand side, conscript squad also retreating, as we have an MG catching the Combat Engineers on the left. The 222 still there at the front of the base, again, not managing to destroy the building. Brings it down to about half health. The Combat Engineers behind it are going to try to repair. And they should be able to, and at the same time we do see the T-70 starting to get built there for Mr. Luvnest. So at this stage, Hans deciding, yeah, that's good enough. Let's go ahead and just back off. I know I'm not going to be able to kill it unless I just risk it and get myself killed. Grens on the left-hand side. Nice little spread there for the Grens squad. Look at this guy all the way over here and still actually being part of the squad and capping. Pretty cool positioning there. It's unfortunate that we don't have as much control over the spread of a squad like Mech and Co1, but well, most people are kind of used to that at this stage, right? T-70 moving out. Conscript squad getting gunned down there in the center. We have an MG42 set up in the heavy cover of the wall, covering the center road. Second MG42 up at the front of the base, making sure that nothing can push from the north. They're all going to have to come through the south. And we do have a pack gun on the field for HelpingHans, but it's currently back over here, so it's going to take a while. Incendiary rounds getting popped there on that MG42, able to penetrate that armor of the T-70. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but if you leave it there sufficiently, it's gonna start adding up. And then, of course, with the support of a 222, that autocannon can take down their T-70 quite easily. So Luvnest needs a little bit more to be able to push forward. Mortar squad being the one trying to clear out that MG. MG deciding, yeah, I've overstayed my welcome. Let's go ahead and get the hell out of there. T-70 is right there in range. Well, sight range there for the 222. And my squeaky chair. The Grunt squad over on the left-hand side seemingly was placed in position there to maybe get a Faust going on that T-70 if it got baited, but not going to happen, so change of plans. Now for Luvnest, we do see his Doctrine selection, and that is of course the Guard Mortar Coordination Tactics. And we see our Guard squad now coming onto the field. So with that, he does have now a good counter there for the 222. And of course, gets access to those T-34-85s, which are pretty cool tanks. So that conscript squad hold up in that house, trying as best as can. Grants and 222 just laying into that house. T-70 moving back as it maneuvers around in the center. MG-42 with incendiary rounds, managing to catch the Guard squad as it pushes forward, forcing it to quickly retreat, as it's not going to be able to do too much. Ooh. Ren squad may actually go down here. Nope. Lucky break there for Hans, as the conscript squad inside the house did not have enough range to be able to get another volley going. One more might have actually taken out the squad, as it is very, very low in health, but makes it out, so it'll live to fight another day. Conscripts up in the north going for the victory points. Victory points are 391 to 500, currently helping Hans, not bleeding a single point. Point on the far left-hand side is currently abandoned. Nobody actually has it. And the 222 moves itself into the center to support that MG-42 as a conscript squad tries to go for the cap of the strategic point. 222 taking some damage at range there. We do have the mortar doing what it can. T-70 is set up right there in the center as the Pac-Man gets a good shot on it. Can I get a second shot before it gets off range? No, it does not. Shot flies, it looks like, but it may have just attacked ground and doesn't actually hit anything. Pack guns notorious for that snipe shot, as they get a last shot off before they leave range most of the time and kill a lot of vehicles that way. Grand squad and Pio squad together trying to fight that combat engineer squad. We do have some mines laid down in the center of the road there for Luvnest. The sweepers on the Pio squad able to spot it. Rifle grenade flies at the guard squad. Guard squad retreats, and well, nothing gets hit. Pios are going to be going to clear out that mine. Grunt squad moving up to the north, as it looks like that was a bit of a misclick there for Hans, and he sends it back into the center, as that's the squad that he wants capping. He was sending the Pios to clear out the mine. Left hand side, MG and Grunts trying as best they can to hold against any incursion by Luvnest. Luvnest back in base preparing his T-70. Mortar squad veteran T2 has been acquired with only 2 kills, but it has been doing a lot of damage, so it increases the accuracy, so it should start to get more kills a little bit more frequently now. And Pile squad in the center of the road retreats, as well, there's nothing for it to sweep, and it only has a single SMG. Guard squad in the center, getting some damage going on the Grand squad. Grand squad retreats, down to 3 men, still alive, so ooh, one more guy gets killed off on the retreat. And the 222 moves out of the way because the PTRS rifles, well, they hurt. They hurt bad. Conscripts and Pios engaging. Relatively long range. The Pio squad does have a flamethrower, so if the conscripts were to close range, they would take a lot of damage. However, MG-42 on the flank manages to get suppression going on them and forces the retreat. T-70 does force away the Pio squad, which backs off, but it does not actually take any damage. And center map, the conscripts, 2 conscripts and a guard squad push forward. However, the MG-42 over here in the center gets turned around and actually gets a suppression going. Stuggy now on the field for HelpingHans, as he does get the Mechanized Assault Doctrine. Shot flies. Oh, very nice hit there by the Stuggy, killing 3 members of that conscript squad in 1 blow. Second shot flies, but it misses them as they retreat. Panzer Grenadiers now on the field for Hans, also getting upgraded with Shreks, so he now has a strong counter there against the T-70. T-70 does get Fausted over here on the left-hand side by that Grand squad, taking a considerable amount of damage. However, oof, well, that was both good and bad there for Helping Hands. Pushes forward, pushes aggressively there with his Panzer Grenadiers, manages to snipe out and kill that T-70. However, in the process, he does lose one, well, he both loses his Panzer Grenadier squad and drops a Shrek, which is gifted there to a veteran C2 conscript squad. And that may actually come back to bite Hans in the ass. That conscript squads with Shreks are very powerful. We do have a second guard squad on the field, so, I mean, yeah, Luvnest pretty much has all the anti-tank he needs. He even gets himself an Su-76, which helps out a little bit, and also adds that artillery barrage, which is just so sexy and can wipe a lot of squads if placed properly. Also a little bit of a spread on it, so you do have to get that RNG look. Conscripts on the center, down to 2 men, forced to retreat as the Grand Squad nukes it. Stuggy, 6 kills so far. One of them being friendly. And the Su-76 utilizes his barrage because, again, that barrage is free, so, you know, may as well use it as often as possible because you can clear out things and, or at least force weapon teams to get the hell out of the way. Nice shot there at the distance there by the Su-76, getting some damage going on the Stuggy. The Stuggy going to be forced to back off. The guard squad not taking too much damage, and their PTRS rifles just adding up over time. And conscripts on the left-hand side, just sitting there as a 222 is guarding the point on the left-hand side. Conscript squad with its Shrek, with veteran C2, it now gets accuracy, so it's much deadlier with the Shrek. And it'll just get worse over time. So the conscript squad on the left-hand side against the 222, they do not have access to the anti-tank grenades, which is surprising. I mean, he does have a lot of... Oh, there we go. Yeah, I was going to say, like, Luvnest, I mean, he does have a lot of anti-tank options now available. Like I said, 2 guards, a Shrek, and the Su-76. But still having the anti-tank grenade, that's always pretty much required. Like, you might not get the Molotovs for your conscripts. But getting the anti-tank grenade is almost a necessity because, I mean, they don't only deal damage. They have that... possibility of critting the engine and snaring, essentially, and being able to control your opponent's movement a lot of times means you can actually get the kill on the tank. Nice rifle grenade flying there by Helping Hands, a little bit behind as the conscripts move into position. Conscripts with Shreks, though, are in that side. The 222, a little bit of risky there. However, we do have the Grand Squad pulled up inside that house. But remember, shooting back at that conscript squad out in the open and doing quite a bit of damage. And the artillery barrage does go off on that Su-76. However, it looks like it only hit once before it was forced to move and gets Fausted in the face. The 222 is actually pretty good at hunting down Su-76s as long as it doesn't put itself in its sight range. Because of the lack of turret, it can easily circle strafe them. However, this one already back at base, so it's going to be fine. Stuggy trying to get repaired here as the Pios try and chase it down. However, it decides to move. Conscript squad gonna get shot on the retreat. Loses one more member, taking some more damage, but fortunately for the conscript squad, it does not have any other enemies along the way, so it will be able to make it out of there alive and keep that Shrek. So, unfortunate for Hans. And in the meantime, while it gets underway, I'm gonna take a drink here. So Hans, deciding to spend his resources, goes ahead and builds himself a second pack gun and a sniper in the same turn. We see a flamethrower getting dropped here in the center. That is a mine, apparently, that got hit. And that is a Pio squad that got killed. So there's a flamethrower there for the taking. Combat engineer squad pushes forward, might be actually wanting to go for the steal of that flamethrower. However, we do see that the Su-76 for Luvnest pushed a little bit too greedily, too aggressively, and woke up a Balrog when it blew up in flames. So the combat engineers for Luvnest managing to steal that flamethrower. So those are some pretty badass combat engineers. They have 2 flamethrowers on them, so if you need anything flushed, these are the guys to call, as they'll quickly deal incredible amounts of damage inside a house. 222 on the left-hand side, just looking at what once was, as the territory was stolen. Sniper over on the right-hand side. Now for Hans, 3 kills so far, trying to do what it can against all these infantry, combat engineers. Forced to retreat down to 2 men, take some shots by the MGs, but they will make it out of there. More shots flying at them, but with the medics, it should be fine as long as they make it out of there alive. And we hear the sniper just taking some shots into the house here, trying to clear out that guard squad, but unfortunately for the sniper, it does have a chance to miss troops inside houses. However, that shot flies clean, gets a good hit, and the sniper is gonna be taking more shots, down to 4 men on that guard squad. Takes some damage, kind of needs to get the hell out of the way now. Second SU-76 on the field there for, second SU-76 on the field there for Luvnest. Once again, utilizing that artillery barrage to help out. The pack gun forced to move back. Sniper all the way back to the base. MGs, Grants. A lot of things back at the base now for Hans, but everybody is currently pulling back, trying to secure a better position. Tiger tanks now available for Hans. He does have the fuel for it. Does not have the manpower, and he will not have the manpower for a little bit as he has to reinforce. Sniper has taken some damage, so he needs to move back and heal up. However, it looks like Hans is going to be waiting here to get that Grand Squad. Taking a lot of damage there in the center as we see a shot landing from something. Not sure what that was. May have been the mortar. No, mortar only has 3 kills. Maybe the SU-76. I don't know. I missed it, but it's still alive, so it doesn't exactly matter, but it was forced to retreat. So yeah, it looks like Hans desperately wants to get himself the Tiger on the field. Feeling that maybe with that he can go for the win. And not reinforcing his troops. He has a lot of troops back at base, which are currently just left there. Need some healing and need reinforcing, but yeah, he's gonna get himself the Tiger. So bit of a gamble there for Hans, just sacrificing some of his troops, keeping them out of combat so that he can have the resources. Luvnest building himself a second SU-76. I mean, with 2 SU-76s, 2 guards, and a Shrek, I mean, that's strong enough to take out a Tiger. You know, slightly fragile, but pretty strong. So the Tiger on the field, going to be pushing up to the north as long as HelpingHans doesn't send it to its death like a lot of other players have. Should be fine. Conscripts are going to be getting crushed here by the Tiger. No? Stuffed in front of him, but gets a shot going. You know, but at least smartly enough, he's not going to simply sacrifice himself. Although he's now pushing forward very, very aggressively. Oof. So marked vehicle, no button going down here by the guards. The Tiger has taken damage to the engine as it gets 18-ated, so HelpingHans seemingly going into the same mistake that we've seen everybody make in the past, and that is just simply going too aggressive with his things. The 222 moving up behind the SU-76. Oh, unfortunate there for Hans as he is unable to get the SU-76 running itself straight in front of its gun and getting himself killed. However, he does provide a sufficient enough distraction in that meantime to be able to get his Tiger out of there. So while he, kind of fucked up as we've seen a lot of other players do, he managed to kind of salvage the situation and keep his Tiger alive. Now the Tiger is severely crippled. He's going to need some repairs. Hell, Hans probably needs to build himself a second Pio squad just to be able to keep up with those repairs. But, you know, at the very least, he keeps his Tiger, which is a significant threat there for Luvnest, and gonna have to deal with that. MG42 out in the open, catching the conscript squad as it moves, you know, slowly towards the center point. Artillery barrage from the SU-76, forcing the MG42 to pack up and leave. Second MG in the center, trying to catch whatever it can, gets a guard squad forced to retreat. Conscripts in the center trying to do what they can. Hans has been blessed at 360. 359 to 360, and as far as victory points go, I mean, geez, this is an even game. Holy hell. Luvnest right now in the relative losing end of that because, you know, 58 to 80 as far as PopCap goes, but still, it's a pretty evenly matched vehicle or unit distribution. So while the Tiger is there, again, the Tiger is currently out of commission as it needs to get repaired, and it will take a couple minutes. So conscripts in the center, managing to hold on against the onslaught, capturing that center point. Guard squad moving to the left-hand side, managing to decap or decrew that AT gun. Gonna be going for the steal, it looks like. No, it doesn't look like. Yes, looks like. No, it looks like. Yeah, it does look like. So goes for the steal. The guard squad retreats. We do have a sniper on the field. The sniper is not actually gonna be keeping that pack gun in. The pack gun, it looks like it's gonna make it out of there for Luvnest. That is very unfortunate here for Hans, especially since it was so close to his base. I mean, all his troops are right here, and it was on the other side of this hedge. Any amount of troops just nearby would have been able to stop that cap, but, well, for Luvnest, nice little pickup there. He runs his way all the way back to the base, and now has a free AT gun as HelpingHans suffers a lot of damage here. Grand squads did get cleared for Hans, one form or another.
We are losing a sector.
Double flamethrower combat engineer squad quickly dealing with the MG42, not killing any of its members. 4 men total, but they took a lot of damage. Thankfully, though, for HelpingHans, that just means a little bit of healing and they're back out, and doesn't have to spend any of the manpower on that. Conscripts were forward, gonna get in range for an AT grenade. No, looks like they weren't able to get that. Conscripts with their Shrek doing what they can, and we have a Grenadier squad throwing a very, very late rifle grenade there for Hans. Not sure why he even let the ability follow through. Took a couple seconds to even trigger. And we see the combat engineers on the left-hand side getting torn apart by a Tiger. The Tiger now being utilized to more accurately secure territory and such, rather than pushing aggressively and trying to close out the game in one form or another. Conscripts in the center retreating. Guard squads coming up behind them, trying what they can. MG42 still just set up there and unable to unmovable. Not sure what I want to say. 24 kills on the sniper. Sniper moves up, but there's nothing in the center for it to move up to. Combat engineers, not combat engineers, Pios, clearing up some mines on the left-hand side as they go cap some points. And we do have that Tiger just sitting around waiting to cap. We do have a second Pios squad on the field, which is now being used to repair the Stuggy. The Stuggy is still on the field. Veteran C2 acquired, and 60 skirts have been worn. And the sniper in the center, decapping that center victory point, but forced to back off as we do have a smoke barrage right in front of everything here. Breaking line of sight between the sniper and anything else, and even the MG and such that was around. So the MG setting up in a nice little heavy cover here, going to be catching those conscripts right in front of them. Conscripts getting suppressed. Grand squad going to be getting assaulted here as the conscripts give no shits, and even though they were suppressed, they were still running on 2 feet. Sniper up behind them, getting shots at whatever it can here. And the Tiger going to be maybe moving itself into a better position. Here comes the crush of the Tiger, crushing the hedge over on the on the right-hand side. The pack gun turning its sights against its former master as the Tiger is shooting at the infantry on the left-hand side. With the marked vehicle, the Tiger will be taking a lot of damage, so it needs to get the hell out of the way. Essentially being rendered useless for another 40 seconds, so even though you may not kill it, that essentially takes it out of a fight, because if it stays in the fight, you can easily kill it. So the Stuggy now doing what it can here to push back the infantry. Manages to get a good shot going there on the SC-76. That just basically injures the loader, which means the turning of the turret is jammed, but since this guy doesn't really have a turret, it doesn't actually matter that much. I mean, still needs to turn the barrel a little bit just to aim, but, you know, for the most part, you still have to just make sure the facing is correct. So the Steiger still at about 75% strength, moving over to the left-hand side. MG42's in the center, trying to do what they can. Panzer Grenadiers now back on the field, retreating from the center as they are unable to hold. Sniper, 34 kills so far, 35 now. Veteran C3 acquired, so that's just shoots so fast at that Veteran C, basically. And grenades fly there by the guard squad. Sniper taking some shots at what it can. Missing though. Left-hand side, the combat engineers trying to lay down some mines here for Luvnest. HelpingHans completely ignoring the combat engineer squad and then realizing, oh wait, they're there, I'm just going to retreat. Not in a good position. MG42 on the left-hand side retreating to that conscript squad. The sniper taking some damage, down to about half health. Probably due with going back and healing up, but everybody's doing that, so may as well keep something on the field, I suppose. Stuggy. Getting repairs going on it. Tiger still unrepaired. Pushing away combat engineers as they're trying to do what combat engineers do. An engineer during combat. And we see a lot of veterancy in this game here for Luvnest. HelpingHans has some, but just look at the veterancy over here. Everything veterancy 3 with a veterancy 2 combat engineer squad. And the stolen pack gun. But the Su-76 did get killed. I did not see that, but I heard it. Right there. Don't know what killed it. I guess I should note it. Okay, there you go.
We have 200 points remaining.
And I'll just check how the Grand Squads died because I haven't been keeping track on them. Okay. So anyways, yeah, we see Luvnest still pushing forward. Now down to only infantry on the field and an AT gun, so that puts Hans in a rather good position. Hans even getting himself a second sniper now. It's just to add to his forces. At this point, he has enough fuel that he can replace a Tiger if it dies, so I'm assuming he just wants to have more anti-infantry capabilities. Oof, combat engineer squad getting gunned down in the front here. Taking quite a bit of damage, as we also saw an incendiary round getting fired by the sniper, which are always pretty cool to utilize it as a double tap. And Grands and Pios just moving back to capture some more territory. Far right-hand side, conscripts capturing that victory point. Victory point's 359 to 181. HelpingHans now in a definite losing end here, bringing the points pretty low. Sorry. Gotta reposition my butt so it starts to get numb. So the Tiger moving around in the center. Pios capturing that center victory point, and that's going to be stopping that bleed there for Hans at 175. So Hans definitely needs to be, I mean, both aggressive and defensive. You know, he needs to be a little bit more defensive now because he could easily lose the game due to victory points. But at the same time, you know, needs to be more aggressive in the sense that he needs to kill more shit so that he can control the map a little bit easier, right? So, center map, we see the Panzer Grenadier squad and Pio squad forced to retreat. The Tiger doing what it can to kill infantry. 12 kills so far. Let's put a hotkey on the second sniper. As the second sniper hits the field, once the original one has 43 kills in total to its name. Conscripts on the left-hand side capping. We have guards, mortar squad just sitting there in the center. The pack gun still being maneuvered around. Still being a good asset there for Luvnest. And we do have a T-3485 coming into play for Luvnest, as he does, of course, have that Doctrine. Conscript squad on the left-hand side. Stuggy going to be harassing it. And we see a marked vehicle going down on the Tiger once again. So Tiger forced to back off now, more into a defensive position, as that is going to, well, essentially take it out of the engagement, like I said, for about 40 seconds. So depending on what you're doing, I mean, not a bad use of 80 munitions. It's pretty cheap, and you know, you either kill the target or you force it to just GTFO, and you know, kind of has the same effect in that current engagement, right? Sniper in the center, getting caught there by the T-3485, being forced to retreat. We do have the second sniper back over here on the left-hand side. Under Grens. Moving up to the check, popping in to get line of sight, getting shot at by Shreks, but they do have the cover from inside the house, so they are in a far favorable position. T-34-85 pushing into the center. Guard squad is in front of it, trying to capture that point. MG-42 getting torn apart by the T-34-85. The marked vehicle has gone off, and the Tiger is now in full aggressive mode. Having been repaired now to full strength, it's also able to support quite a bit of damage, and we also hear a shot flying here as it hits the MG-42. Not sure what it was from, though. Kind of seemed like it was a T-34-85, but might have been the pack gun, actually. I'll check that MG in a second just to see if the actual weapon took damage, even though they supposedly took that away, I believe. The ability for the weapons to get damage while they're crewed. Well, this down to half health, so it did have a distinct metallic clang to the hit, so we'll see. Anyways, though, HelpingHans managing to push back out onto the field, recovering a lot of territory. 91 to 61 as far as PopCap goes, so again, Hans does have the technical, you know, stronger value in this army. However, I mean, just look at that veterancy for Luvnest. These guys are so close to veterancy 3. I mean, he's going to have all veteran infantry. The pack gun, though, not having much. Hasn't actually done anything, apparently. And an MG and a Grand Squad over on the left-hand side, just recovering a lot of territory. So the Stuggy, now veterancy 3, 26 kills so far. Pretty goddamn cool. Veterancy 1 on the Tiger, 18 kills. Quickly catching up on those kills, and this other sniper has only gotten 4 kills as he dodges a flying tree that almost lands on his face. So front of the base, Luvnest trying to make a push here. Moving up with his conscripts with the Shrek, making sure that he has that anti-tank ready to go. Pack gun getting a good shot on the Stuggy. The Stuggy forced him back off. T-34-85 was nearby and potentially on standby for, you know, getting more shots going. But, you know, Luvnest is essentially trying to bust through a brick wall, and while he can, it's going to be painful. Oof. But with shots like that, he can easily knock down the wall and make his way through. So a Grand Squad down to 1 man, taking a massive hit there. Tiger in the center, pushing up, fighting against the T-34-85, missing its shot and now getting shot at by everything. Getting marked once again, which again takes it off of the engagement for 40-50 seconds. And the guards push forward as Panther Grenadiers once again on the field with Shreks now. Just moving back to support its thing. Strategic point in the center, trying to decap or disconnect territories. However, for Luvnest, Hans does currently have that center victory point, which was still connecting those territories. Now that he's decapped it, though, that disconnects all the resources on the left-hand side. Snipers in the center, trying to do as best they can to clear out the infantry. Managing to actually get the kill on that guard squad as it capped, it looked like. And the second guard squad in the center is not in range of any of the snipers. T-34-85 up in the north, trying to move around, harassing. Pio squad going for the cap of the victory point. And it looks like finally the pack gun is going to be pushing forward for Hans to try and reconnect territories. Victory points 321 to 124, still holding a 200-point lead there for Luvnest. Pretty good position to be in. Grand Squad and snipers just moving along. Sniper retreating back to the base as we do see the Hans artillery barrage getting called in on top of the pack gun. The pack gun, oof, taking the direct hit right there. Just holding its ground, moving back into the artillery, getting itself cleared out, and the weapon is wrecked. It's actually destroyed. It's just a pile of rubble. Nobody can actually recover it. So nice there for Hans. That's going to be forcing some type of anti-tank for Luvnest. And even though it got destroyed a little bit earlier, it is already coming into play for Luvnest as he does get himself an Su-85 to be able to combat the armor of HelpingHans. Not a bad decision. Su-85 has a lot of range and a strong gun. So as long as you can keep it pointed forward, it can dish out the damage. Combat Engineer Squad on the left-hand side, going for the victory point. We do have the Stuggy nearby, but the Stuggy is damaged and looks like it doesn't want to push too aggressively. Snipers moving around in the center. 9 kills so far on the second sniper, 51 kills so far on the original for Hans. And up in the north, that Pio squad is forced to retreat there by the T-34-85 as well. It is a tank, and they are not. Su-85 in the center, going to be shooting against the Tiger, getting shots straight into the front. Getting some crits there. Well, not crits, but penetrations there. So the damage starts to roll up little by little. Guard squad in the center going for that victory point. Unable to cap it there as they take a lot of damage. Snipers nearby just doing what they can. The Tiger moves up and once again gets shot in the face. Stuggy moving into the center. Pio squads do need to get some repairs going. We did see another Pio squad die at some point. I don't know when. I'll just note it just to see when it died. It was before that. So yeah, whatever. And yeah, for Luvnest, we do see his combat engineer squad retreating on the left-hand side here, as the other one is the one that got down here in the center. So Luvnest now having to be a little bit more defensive, 58 to 97 for the pop cap difference here between Hans and Luvnest's army. We can see now that Luvnest's army has dwindled quite significantly. They still have all the what's it called? All the veterancy. But yeah, I was like, what am I trying to say? Still has all his veterancy on his squad, so that's good. Conscripts with tracks and such, but yeah, I mean his doesn't have as much, I suppose. T-34-85 and Su-85 back at base, going to be needing some repairs going, so this is going to be giving HelpingHans quite a bit of time here to just have whatever he wants. We do see a PTRS rifle dropped on the field. If you could pick it up on a sniper rifle and just start sniping with a PTRS, that'd be pretty cool. So the Grand Squad could actually just go and pick up a PTRS rifle for themselves and have a nice little weapon, but Hans seemingly not interested now. No, it looks like now he is. Yeah, he sees like, oh, there's a weapon right there. Well, may as well pick it up with these guys. So that means he's going to have an extra form of anti-vehicle, and the PTRS rifle, not that bad against infantry. Ever since it got changed, it's pretty good. It was actually too much at one point, I think, but it's been toned. Anyways, conscripts over on the left-hand side have, well, they're trying to go for the victory point. Gonna run straight into the center of the road, get themselves, get themselves caught by the MG42 in the middle of the road, so unable to really go for the cap. Stuggy pushing to the front. Guard squad moving up. Tiger taking some good shots there at range, getting hits there on the conscripts. These are the conscripts that have a Shrek, so they're going to be retreating as Luvnest does not want to lose that squad. T-34-85, second now on the field. Moving along. The Tiger seeming not too strong against the T-34-85s. Like its hits doesn't actually do that much damage, so they're actually able to withstand several direct shots by it. So front of the base, the Tiger moves up, takes a shot at the Tier 2 structure. However, it backs off a little bit. And it looks like Luvnest is just waiting for the armor to repair itself. Su-85 moves up, using its scoped sight, managing to get a lot of range and able to shoot the Tiger, bring it down in health. PTRS, Grenadier Squad, and Panzer Grenadiers with Shreks quite in front of it, so they are providing a nice little buffer there. Anti stuff. Sniper in the center of the road, trying to do what it can against the conscripts. Stuggy moving up, trying to see if it can maybe snap a shot there and get some kills, but yeah, I mean, again, Luvnest pretty much being pinned. It does have a conscript squad capturing that point in the north. Guard squad just holding here in that choke point, but not seemingly wanting to be too aggressive, as again, 76 to 97, it looks like Luvnest is just utilizing this opportunity, this time, to build up his armored force and try and overwhelm that Tiger. Now with the destruction of the pack gun, and we see, of course, we saw another pack gun getting built for Helping Hands. He does have a lot of anti-vehicle capabilities. I mean, he even has APTRS rifles and 2 Shreks, so it's gonna be tough. It's not gonna be as simple as just swarm and kill the Tiger and that's it. There's other stuff to worry about, but with 3 T-3485s and an SU-85, I mean, he has the potential to bring down the hammer, essentially. Grand Squad in the front, getting torn by the mortar. 16 kills so far in the mortar. Backing off a little bit. Conscripts up in the north again, just sitting around, not actually capping. This victory point has been left untouched. Grenadier Squad retreating. We do have a MG bunker set up for Helping Hands as he utilizes his manpower. And Pilot Squad just repairing over here on the left-hand side, getting the Tiger back to full strength. I don't believe Hands is able to build anything. He doesn't have the population cap for it. It's 97 in total, so it's pretty much at capacity. So at this stage, yeah, I mean, he just needs to build caches like these for either fuel or munitions. Probably munitions at this stage, if he were to do that. And yeah, like maybe start laying down some bunkers. Different locations. So Panzer Grenadiers with Shreks moving up, getting barrages going on that tier 2. The tier 2 might actually go down here. Take some damage, but it doesn't look like Luvnest is going to be allowing that to completely fall. Moves up with the Conscript Squad, but the Conscript Squad is quickly forced to retreat as there were units nearby supporting. The snipers are forced to retreat, and they're heading back to base to heal up. But, yeah.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
So Tiger maneuvering around in the center. PTRS rifle guys just trying to do what they can, and we see a 4th T-3485 just getting built for Luvnest. So Luvnest utilizing this time because, well, I mean, he pretty much has time. He does control one of the victory points up in the north. Hans is not making any attempt to take it. He's still technically, I mean, not even technically, I mean, he's still 100 points ahead of Hans when it comes to victory points. So yeah, I mean, he's just setting himself up for that. For that fell swoop, essentially managing to now equalize. We have 97 to 97, so the pop cap has stabilized and it's pretty even. So the T-3485s can come in and go for a flank. We do see 2 T-3485s up from the north coming up on a flank, one coming up from the center. We do have one back at base just faffing around, and the Su-85 falling a little bit behind. Not sure why he only sent 3 like that. Could have sent everything in just to be able to get a good hit. However, though, he does get the marked vehicle going down on the Tiger. One of the T-3485s has been destroyed in the center by the pack guns. A third one is giving chase. The other one has lost its turret. And here comes the second wave as the Su-85 and another T-3485 move in to engage. However, I don't know why did he stagger it like that? If he was going to go for that type of attack, he could have just done it all in one, but I guess maybe he kind of misclicked, maybe? I don't know. Doesn't manage to inflict a decent amount of damage there to the Tiger, managing to kill off, of course, the Stuggy. The Stuggy stood no chance, you know, even against 2 T-3485s. Oh, never mind. T-3485 in the center does end up getting destroyed and looked like abandoned for a second, but it does end up blowing up. So the Su-85, though, does get destroyed. That one didn't need to be sacrificed like that, I don't think. That one could have just been kept as defense. The T-3485s are the ones that have that potential to do shock because of their turrets, and you can move around and maneuver. Last remaining T-3485 for Luvnest moving back. The Tiger is pushing forward now as the marked vehicle has been exhausted. That's flying from the Tiger. We have Drags, but they're not there. We have a guard squad nearby. And the Tiger has taken quite a bit of damage, so it looks like Luvnest is seemingly going to be keeping his T-3485. Panzer Grenadiers with Shreks and guard squad with PTRS rifles pushing forward. Those can easily kill that T-3485. So it looks like that's not going to happen. And we see yet another Stuggy coming into play because, well, Hans just has all the resources in the world at this stage. He doesn't really need much. So with the loss of one of the pack guns, Pioneer Squad does end up getting built. With that, he can easily get the repairs going on the Tiger, get it back to full strength. And Luvnest was building something, but he decides to cancel instead. and build himself an Su-76. Interesting. Yeah, like I said, I don't think that Su-85 needed to be in that engagement if it wasn't in the engagement originally, right? He only sent 3 and then sent out the other 2 for some reason, instead of everything at the same time. So at that stage, the Su-85 should have probably just stayed back. Tiger wasn't killed. At that stage, the Stuggy was already dead, so... Oh well. So anyways, MG42 retreating from the north, managing to keep itself alive and retain that veterancy. Oh, sniper in the center taking a mortar to the face, but keeping itself alive. Lucky it. 58 kills on that one sniper. Who knows how much in the other. It has veterancy 1, but probably like 12 or 15, something like that. T-30-45 needing some repairs in the center. Combat engineers are nearby and should be able to get the repairs going relatively quickly. Su-76 coming onto the field, but I mean, 1 Su-76 and 1 T-30-45, that's not going to be enough against a Tiger. So, Luvnest now in a bit of a pickle. Not sure if he can actually pull this off anymore, because, I mean, the victory points are getting kind of close now. 165 to 114, still in his lead. You know, basically having 50-point lead so far, but again, he's going to bleed that at some point, and then what does he do? So Panzer Grenadiers pushing all the way to the front of the base with their Shrek, getting themselves suppressed by the MGs in the base, and forced to back off. The second sniper has 12 kills. Hey, I got it. I said 12, and it was 12. Haha. Suck it. And the pack gun and the Stuggy is just essentially laying siege into the base. The mortar's still online, still there, so it's able to retaliate and try and break that siege, maybe get some lucky kills. I mean, I got a really lucky kill or hit on the sniper. Unfortunately, though, it didn't actually kill it, so there you go. Guard squad on the left-hand side, being forced to retreat by the new Stuggy. Conscripts around, also being forced to retreat. And we do have a... No, we don't. Where is he? Huh, could have sworn I heard an MG in this direction, but I didn't. Oh well. So the MG at the front of the base just keeping all the infantry in check. The Su-76 and the T-30-45 just moving around there. The Su-76 barrage is currently on cooldown, so it can't be utilized to break that MG-42 from the front of the base. And behind the lines, it looks like the fuel is finally going to get recapped here for Hans, although he looks to be going for the victory point instead. Not actually needing fuel at this stage. He has 500 fuel, so, you know, he's got all he needs. AT gun getting built here for Luvnest. A little bit of an opportunity there for Hans to maybe destroy the tier and not allow the weapon to come out. Of course, he doesn't know, you know, can't actually see that from his point of view, but never mind. The Tiger does move up, takes a shot, and down goes the tier 2. So no AT gun for Luvnest. Does recover the resources though as it gets cancelled, but yeesha. So the Su-76 throwing a barrage at that MG-42. Triple cap now in effect for HelpingHans, so Luvnest is bleeding quickly, and the points have now equalized. We do see our guard rifle squad getting called in for Luvnest. The infantry pushes into the center. Su-85 moving around in the center as well. The troops just stopping there a little bit.
Have reduced our foes to 100 points.
100 points left there for Luvnest. MG-42 just catching that conscript as it pushes. We do have the Su-85 behind it, and we have a Stuggy shooting at the conscripts. Conscripts retreating. Those are the ones still with the Shrek. Doing a lot of work throughout the game, but seemingly all for naught. Nice shot there and crippling the turret there for the Su-85. I mean, sorry, the T-34-85. Su-76 in the center, getting barraged there by pack gun and Shreks, and everything goes up in smoke. And with that, Luvnest throws in the towel, realizing that, yeah, the game was lost. But yeah, that was kind of weird. I mean, I understand the point of staggered assaults, like you should have a lead charge and then a second one, but it seemed like if that was the case, he took a little bit too long. Like if the plan for Luvnest was to not have the Su-85 die in the initial assault and be there to provide damage, it needed to be, you know, not that far behind. So he only sent 3 out of the 4 Su-85s, and then after a little while sent the other ones, and that seemed like is what maybe cost him the game, because he could have If he sent everything, he might have actually killed the Tiger and been in a little bit of a better position. However, even with that, though, we see that the fuel was already there for Hans. So with the loss of the Tiger, he would have been able to replace it easily and probably still won the game. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, I do hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.